2-1-0. You just have Fire Blast and Ignite, and you just spam them on the enemy carry whenever you want because you have mana. You have a setup stun to hit Illuminate with. You also have a dead Zephyr, so that's probably not the greatest start to your lane. All right. And he wasted his branch trying to hide, but he blocked himself out.
You know, some days are like that. Some days it just be like that.
That's rough. First blood going to 33, by the way. Really, really great hero to get first blood on. Offlane Leshrac loves this. A little bit of experience boost, and of course all that gold. So good start for him. But yeah, I think Ogre Caudle is actually a strong lane. The way it works is flat out spamming, and I think Weaver is one of the better heroes to play it against because this hero doesn't have the best base HP regen, and it is short range, so it needs to expose itself to getting hit by Ogre's spells in order to get CS. Unless you want to only Shukuchi CS, and then you just buy a sentry, and he uses mana all the time. So.
Yeah, that seems like an L there if you're having to do something like that.
It is, for sure. It also has too long cooldown on level 1. Shukuchi level 1's 12 seconds. You can't, like, then you can only get like 1 or 2 creeps per wave, and that's just not good enough if you're a carry. You want at least 3 every time if you can. So, yeah, pretty standard lanes. Caudle Ogre bot. Pretty standard, I guess. DP mid for T1, and then of course that leaves Slark, Clock top, and Whitemon playing against a tied 4. Clock 5 is actually very good. It's one of the only melee heroes that truly can just box Tide out of lane. You're just too strong. He's, however, going to go on the Leshrac for now. That's pretty low value. Didn't really get much damage in there.
In the bottom lane, they're just trying to do a little bit of dewarding, trying to poke a bit back and forth. But they are putting a lot of pressure over on Zephyr. So anytime that he shows up, taking large amounts of damage.
I feel like the way they should be playing this is as soon as Cuckoo doesn't have to CS, they need to box Fata out together so that Caudle gets to play the way he wants. We're seeing them going on Skeeter here a little bit, but now Cuckoo's coming over to help, but having already used the Ignite on Skeeter just means Fata doesn't care, and he can go in and trade, right? If I'm Caudle here, I'm frustrated because I know how much I can do in this lane if I just get to go and hit heroes and cast my spell, but he needs Cuckoo to cover for him, so he's able to do it. Actually, he could have almost killed Fata there with an Illuminate, I think, but didn't go for it. But yeah, they need to work well together here. And sure, you might give Weaver a little bit of a start then, but you need to make sure you get your Caudle into the lane. This Illuminate could end up getting them denied, actually.
There's a lot of damage being popped over onto Cuckoo.
No,
Skeeter, no. He's too busy. He's busy. He's got creeps to hit.
Oh.
He's not going to be chasing after the big bad ogre right now. Just not yet. Maybe later on. And you think that, you know, especially because you did mention that you have seen Cuckoo play the Ogre here. They know how they want to play this lane. But I suppose that Tundra is just making it difficult for them to get that exact advantage that they would like. It's
mainly Fata's play here that is that's winning them the lane. But I think their lane can solve it by casting their spells slightly differently. But they might not have expected this. Again, maybe inexperienced. Yeah, they played against 5 Pango last game, but it might take more than just one game for them to really figure out what they should do here. But I do think, I mean, I'm not experienced at this either, so who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But I think if they fight him together, they can bully him out immediately and then control the lane.
Dota is indeed a beautiful lane game. Forgot the second half of that, but Whitemon doing a little bit of body blocking here over on Snake King.
He might be able to kill him, actually.
Another second or so, yeah. He's going to go for the bad
Savage gave up.
I think that might have been the death of Whitemon here. I think that might have actually killed him.
That's just miscommunication.
Oof.
It looked like they were working together, and then Savage was like, nope, by the way. And just left.
Not looking good for Cuckoo down here. He goes, he pops stick charges. They've got the Shukuchi, and that's just a dead Ogre. Tundra, they are feeling bloodthirsty as heck here, though, over in the mid lane. 9 is trying to stay alive as Carl taking a couple shots here from the tower. No, Carl will be able to get the kill before falling himself. Nice little bit of outplay there.
Yeah, that was a nice fight in the mid lane there. I like what 9 did. He identified that, okay, I'm probably dead here, so I'm going to turn and hit while Carl is in the tower range. If he keeps running there, the outcome might be that Carl kills him anyway, but without those extra 2 or 3 attacks coming in, he could have either survived the tower or suicided as he wished, right? I mean,
yeah,
in the end, he does die, but...
At that point, you're so low on everything, why not just...
Yeah, I guess if he hadn't turned, it would have kind of been the same, actually. I think Carl would have chosen to die to the tower, but... But yeah, very important for T1, by the way, to have something going their way by getting ahead here in the mid lane on the kill board, at least. 9 still even in net worth with Carl, but with this bottom lane going not very well for T1 and the top lane that we just saw as well, with the first blood for Lesh from pre-runes, as well as the kill they got on Clockwork, Tundra is once again building themselves a very significant early advantage.
Fata just going to be able to swashbuckle away. And look at the amount of sentries dedicated in this bottom lane.
Oh, interesting as well to see this item on Weaver. I was theorizing this item might make a comeback this or well, become relevant, I think is the better way to talk about it. Falcon Blade was introduced, I want to say, was it a year ago by now?
I think so, yeah, at this point.
And it has never really truly been meta. It had like a week or something where people bought it and then they realized, hey, it's actually not that good. And then it got buffed and people were like, it's still not that good. And now it got buffed again. And I feel like it's reaching this point now where the value of buying this item is just so high that we're going to see it on specific heroes. And Weaver is one of the perfect ones for it. You want all of the stats badly. Health, damage, as well as mana regen. And I like to compare this item to like Wraithband or Bracers or Null Talismans, where it's an item that inevitably falls off but gives incredible value when you buy it. And for some heroes, this is just better than Wraithbands or Bracers or Null Talismans. So you're making that conscious choice to just empower yourself early, and then it will obviously fall off. But
I want to say that I almost want to say it was Skeeter who did this, where they'd pick up multiple Falcon Blades on Medusa.
Yeah, it could have been Skitter, actually. It's not like the item has been completely unpurchased, but it has not been popular. But Weaver is definitely one of the best heroes to grab it on.
It seems like we're starting to see a little bit of a shift in the meta as well, going towards like, some of these earlier cheaper items to kind of get that advantage. And I remember during DPC, some of the analysts were kind of not crazy about it. They thought, you should get items that are going to scale, that are going to ensure that, you have a future, kind of like an insurance policy or investing. How do you feel about these cheaper items being, becoming more and more popular in these earlier situations?
I think it depends on the matchup in the lanes. Oh, Carl just getting killed here by snaking as well as 9. Just getting overpowered. I think it depends on the matchup you have in the lane. There are some lanes inherently that are very volatile, and I think getting some sort of a stable grip on those lanes can be really powerful, because at the end of the day, let's say you pay 500 gold for an item that falls off, but getting it secures you 5 CS you wouldn't otherwise have got and gets you 3 denies. Then all of a sudden, those 5 CS are worth, let's say, 200 gold, and the denies you remove from the enemy are worth 100. Now you have effectively, in quotation marks, paid 200 gold for a 500 gold item, right? And you can also sell it. So that's obviously an oversimplified way of looking at it, but a lot of the time, buying these small value items in lane, that's what it gives you. You need to really get that inch of value out of them, because if not, then you're right. It's not going to pay off in the long run. But.
And I guess that's another, thing that does still require skill, is realizing when is this an appropriate time to pick up this item? Sure. When is it like just a little bit too far out of reach at this point where it's not going to be as effective? So again, it does come back to, what item is good and what the item timing is. I think the easiest one to buy and feel good about is Null Talisman on Int Heroes, because the percentage-based scaling on this in terms of farming speed and teamfight output is just... It's very easy to gauge why that would be good, right? On a hero like Leshrac, even if it turns out, man, I didn't dominate the lane as hard as I wanted to, you still feel good about it, because you want this spell amp to just farm that little bit faster when you push waves. Maybe you find a kill you couldn't have otherwise, helps you, everything for the rest of the game until you inevitably have to replace them. So that they're just really good value. They give mana regen, you want that. All the stats are just great on Int Heroes, so... Yeah, I'm with Kyle. I think it was Kyle who said it, that he thinks the Null Talisman is the best of the 3 currently. I definitely agree with that. And I think the worst one is probably Bracer. Well, Bracer got nerfed pretty hard a while back. Like, it hasn't been the same since then.
Yeah.
So that would definitely make sense, but the amount of pressure being placed here in this top lane, when you have a Leshrac, your towers are going to melt, and it's one of those situations where you need to have your Slark having a good game. This is not a hero that's able to farm back very quickly. It's kind of dependent on, getting those pickoffs. How are they going to respond to this here on T1?
I think a lot of this has to actually come from getting level 6 on Clockwork and activating your Ogre. Cuckoo looks to be going for phase boots and a full maxed out damage build with no bloodlust points. So he is probably eager to fight as top lane. Whitemon, you're not winning this trade.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised about that. There's going to be the exorcism, and he does end up getting leashed up, so
that's not too bad for
vengeance.
T1. That's a big kill. He had a killing spree that went to 23 Savage, so he got 350 for that. And look what he's eyeing up, by the way.
Ooh.
The legendary item Mage Slayer, which is very changed this patch because nobody ever bought it.
Uh-oh. Snake King getting chased down. A couple of hits here. Does get held back, but now it's looking a little bit scary here for Carl. He's going to try to use that Spirit Siphon, trying to buy enough time so that way those ghostly ladies can help him out, but no. Not going to be enough. Snake King will survive another day. Yeah, with Mage Slayer, I think every single podcast, video, tweet that I saw, like all the pros are just aghast at the buffs that have been coming out here for this item.
It's very different. So it got 850 gold cheaper, and obviously the stats were changed, but in essence what it still has is the magic resistance component, and it still has the component that when you attack an enemy hero, they lose magic damage. And that is a no-brainer against Leshrac, why that would be amazing. Because what makes this item so good against specific heroes is that both the offensive and defensive component are really good against the same heroes at the same time. And you pay 2,400 for that. Leshrac losing 35% of his damage while you get 20% magic resistance effectively makes him deal about half damage with everything. And that's no
massive.
joke. So definitely a very powerful item against that hero. It's also good against Void Spirit for similar reason. And Slark loves this item because the stats that it gives are really good for him too. So previously it gave it agility, and it was primarily expensive because of the agility parts. Now the stats on it are attack speed, damage, and mana regen. The 2 mana regen, awesome on Slark. He just wants to spam Dark Pact to farm. So it's a real feel-good item on that hero, for sure.
They're putting the camps over here, or rather the all the heroes just want to protect this mid tower as they're trying to make some moves. You can see they're playing around here in this top area of the map, trying to ensure that it is taken away from T1. 23 Savage is still here. They know he's here, but they don't seem too concerned about it. They just want to hit these creeps, and they want to start taking away more and more of the map over on the side of Tundra. Whitemon, bottom lane, getting poked away by Fata. Has to be careful. He might have gotten baited here because, you know, Carl is here. That silence coming out. A couple of the clicks, the Spirit Siphon, and that's a dead Fata. Meanwhile, hiding in the tree line, Zephyr knows what they're doing. They knows their tricks. He's trying to burn down this tower, and they have, of course, a Ravage with Snake King that they have to be very aware of. Skeeter doing Weaver things, just going to dance around the Slark. And a nice little treat here for 9 as he picks himself up an Arcane Rune.
Actually kind of cool to see how Coddle's Illuminate worked against the Leshrac there. So what Lesh often does is he casts Edict and stands in the fog to take the tower. But Illuminate gives a lot of flying vision when it's traveling outward, when you're building it up. And it meant that even after it connected and 33 tried to hit the tower again, he was still taking tower shots in fog. So which obviously wasn't fog then.
And definitely, there was light.
Yep.
You know, Keeper of the Light sending his light so you can have that vision. You can get the jump over here.
This is a very important tower to defend as always. Hookshot is online. Maybe they can find a hookshot into Silence on the Pango or onto the Void Spirit, both of which would be great openings for them.
You gotta be afraid of that Ravage, though.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's another good thing about Silence against Tide. It's a 0 damage spell that silences, so it doesn't proc Kraken Chill.
There's the opening, the taunt coming through. Ravage plus the Split Earth and the roll on through. Staking still gonna be the one to get skill. Whitemon now throwing down those cogs, trying to just buy a little bit more space. Nice multi-hit here over onto 9. He's leashed up. He needs some help. He needs something as he does get stunned up, and it looks like 9 will be able to survive this. So they just walk away from 23 Savage. He's cooking down a little bit from that Ignite, but should be fine. Probably just going to back off.
Yeah. And you got to say, we really haven't seen that much value out of the 3 Ogres so far in this game. He lost his lane. He only has 1 point in Bloodlust, so hasn't really ramped up the farm of his carry. And when he's showing up here, it's nice for him to just stand in front and be annoying, but you have this feeling that if they didn't win the lane the way they were meant to, this hero could have been so many other heroes that could have offered something similar and maybe more impactful. So I'm still looking for Cuckoo to find a major impact after maybe 10 minutes with his Midas, so he can build something big that can really help them. Like, I think the Aghanim Scepter will be very strong in this game. The chain stuns on Void Spirit or on Weaver can definitely help them a lot. The Unrefined Fire Blast, I believe it's called.
Yep.
And outside of that, like, it's an okay Veil game for his, like maybe one of his teammates buys a Veil, so they have the amplification as well. But currently Zephyr is aiming for the Force Staff, which is a great item as well. And yeah, as is being pointed out here, Solar Bind will obviously amplify the Ogre as well. So they do have some interesting synergies to play around with, but they need to get there.
They're going to try to use the smoke to their advantage. Bottom lane, though, 23 Savage already getting poked a bit here by 33, but they have a lot of heroes coming out. Oh, they missed the hook shot. So they're going to group up over here on Snaking. They see 33. Get a nice stun off over here on the side. Whitemon, he's ticking down. They've got the cogs, they'll push them back. They've got the Exorcism, they'll find themselves a kill. Over onto 33 and Snaking. Whitemon next to fall. And the tower.
That's a good move.
Gets wiped out as well. And right back to mid lane they go.
2 for 1, they get to use their Exorcism for something meaningful. They didn't lose any, didn't really take any structural damage mid. And they hold on. And yeah, I mean, the Slark is definitely starting to ramp up quite significantly here, and we can't forget Bloodlust on this hero being amazing. I believe the Mage Slayer should be completed in a second, and now he's building in towards Sanjin Yasha. So yeah, no joke here. 23 Savage can do a lot this game.
Skeeter. He's in no man's land right now. They don't know he's there just yet.
They don't know.
Well, yes, now they do, especially because they have themselves a sentry. 9 over on the back lines trying to just wipe out this Caudal. Can he do it fast enough? The Ravage to follow up. Looks like they'll be able to take down a Courier. They'll take down Whitemon as well. Spata rolling on through with that Rolling Thunder. They're looking to just put out enough damage, and they do manage to take down 9. 23 Savage, he's out for blood. He smells blood in that water. He wanted 33, but he's got to back off and just focus on these creeps and perhaps turn this into a bit of a push here. So the rest of the side of Tundra is forced back, and ooh, a double damage. Double damage, Mage Slayer is complete. This is a happy little fish.
This is the kind of game that I could see Slark just run away with. He has arguably one bad matchup, which is Leshrac, because he has a lot of just AoE damage that hits him during Dark Pact or during... oh, I can't remember. Shadow Dance. There it is. It's getting late. But outside of that, his matchup against Weaver is pretty decent. Like, it's not fantastic, but ultimately you start getting like Basher and items like this on Slark to keep the Weaver in place, and you just steal his stats over time. You're awesome against Tide. You're great against Pango, except during the Rolling Thunder. But even then, you can still protect yourself with Dark Pact. It's very telegraphed when you're going to get hit. So yeah, having a good game on 23 Savage here for T1 is paramount, because Kuku is not having a good game, that's for damn sure. And Karl's is also pretty good. You've got 4 deaths, but he's keeping up in farm, which is pretty commendable here. So some of the kills he has got have been very good for him. Going for the Kaya Sanj, it looks like now. Building into that.
Karl's had some really nice just rotations, you know, identifying that he can take a tower in the bottom lane, they can take a nice fight. You know, Whitemon also playing a good chunk in that, being able to push back 33 so those spells just can't quite connect, and the Death Prophet can continue to kite. But they really, there's so much pressure over in this mid tower. It is ticking down, so you have to be careful.
They're going to try to defend again.
Very forward here with that hook shot. Nice silence. Rolling Thunder coming through the top, coming out over onto Whitemon. Snaking sitting very, very low. 33 though. He will get taken down as Whitemon tries to run away. He cannot do it fast enough. Skeeter will get the final hit. Karl on the hunt. They have used that Exorcism, looking for whatever else they can. 23 Savage, he's looking for Fata. He would love to grab himself this Pangolier, but again, there are towers to be hit. And it is Defense of the Ancient after all.
Another great play here from T1. It might look easy from our perspective, but that decision had to be made within 5 seconds at most, maybe even like 2 or 3. They have to call instantly to defend that tower, and the Clockwork has to go in and kill himself to get the Lesh. What it ends up doing is it protects their own tower that didn't fall. They can choose to deny it now if they want, but not only that, but they defend it, they use Exorcism, and they win the fight, so they can use their Exorcism to take the enemy T1 tower. So overall, just a super high impact play here, made in the blink of an eye from T1. Very, very good stuff.
Now everybody's kind of just backing off after having that long fight in the mid lane, and they're picking up those neutral items. So I think things will calm down perhaps a little bit. I'm sure Tundra would like to finish off that tower. They know it's sitting very, very low.
Yeah,
it's not,
sure.
of course, was not denied.
And they should be able to just walk up there and get it now. Like, there's no exorcism. If you
There's a
group up
coddle,
your
though.
heroes and get it. Yeah, they need to hit it, like, honestly. Oh,
Ooh, the
Skeeter.
hook shot. Over on Skeeter, burning through some of that mana plus the silence. They'll be able to lock him into place. They've got the dust, and that's a dead Skeeter.
That was
Rest
basically...
of Tundra, though.
That was completely perfect. Whitemon waited as long as possible with the cog knockback. They hit the silence projectile, and then they had the ogre stun. Very nicely done.
They wanted Carl there, but I think Whitemon breaking that smoke made it so that they realized it was time to back off. Snaking still having the Ravage. They've got the Battery Assault, the cogs in place. Here's Zephyr winding up. It wants to get off some of that nuke damage. I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to make it in time because he's already dead to Whitemon. And they finished off 33 over on the side.
T1 are definitely stepping it up in this game. It's like they're waking up. These last 5 minutes is probably the best they've played today. Just a lot of good decisions, a lot of good teamwork, spellcasting. Again, this kill. Look at the stun bar, perfect. The stun bar ends perfect silence into perfect ogre stun. If that is just a little bit off on any of those steps, the Weaver doesn't die. And all of the following sequence where they also get the Lesh and Tide never happens. So really, really nice stuff here from them. And I think they're just going to keep ramping up. You've got the next Exorcism ready to go. You might want to look at either taking a fight around the enemy triangle with a smoke and then transitioning into Roshan, or you can look for the bottom tier 2, which is the easiest attack point for them to open up the outposts. And even if you don't, I think if you're T1, you're not that worried as far as farm goes in this game. You have the Slark, you know he's doing great. He has the natural just bloodlust for the entire game, which the enemy team has no dispels for except one Yule, I think. On the Void Spirit, does Leshrac also have Yules?
I mean, don't forget there is a neutral item that.
Yeah, there is one that they could find in the 37. Very cool one.
I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic with that or not.
No, I'm not being sarcastic.
Sometimes it's hard to tell with you.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh yeah, there we go.
But then I was not being sarcastic about being sarcastic. Or.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I'm glad that you're amusing yourself over there.
I'm having a good time.
But that was sarcastic.
That is what matters when you go to a party, is that you're having a good time.
That is indeed. But yeah, so we've got that SNY completed now for 23 Savage. Got a little bit of that status resist, always nice. But they're looking to try to make a play here. They're just not able to grab him quite quick enough.
No, he's very slippery, and the amount of catch that they have on Tundra's side is kind of limited against Dark Pact. You can Yule, but he will always Dark Pact off the follow-up stun. You need to kind of catch him by surprise with a Blink Ravage or a stun from Fog.
The jump forward, there it is. There's the Ravage clipping right over here onto the side. Can they finish off 23-7? No, they can't. Whitemon throwing his body in the middle of everyone is off to the side. Fato will fall. Whitemon taking too much damage, Snaking next to take out as well. 33, he's just ripped apart by Carl. This Death Prophet is doing so much work with all this Exorcism, with the Fairy Grenade, with everything. As 23 Savage jumps in. There it is. There's the kill on 9. The attempt on Roche absolutely squashed.
Yeah. When Tundra commits all of that to try to kill the Slark and they fail, that fight is just, for me, it's almost lost at that moment. Like, they're still going to try the best they can, but they used Ravage, they used their BKB on Leshrac, they basically threw everything at him, and he just Shadow Danced at the correct time. And yeah, Leshrac is good against him, but he's tanky. He has all the health from Sanjin Yasha, he has the magic resist that we've already talked about from the Mage Slayer, and he just doesn't die. And then that is an easy cleanup fight for Carl following that. Zephyr is in trouble here. Nice silence.
Might be going just a little bit too far. And again, there it is. Nice stun right at the right moment here. Do they even go? They hit him again.
Oh.
That is a kill for
not
Cuckoo.
ready for the chakra. He wanted to drag out the ult as long as possible on the Weaver, and the Ogre just got gifted a secondary stun that he was not considering at all in his head there. Didn't do the math fully.
He simply didn't know. I will say, I like the way that Whitemon is positioning himself in this fight, the way that he's been able to just go and separate and create this mass amounts of chaos for his team.
This is basically the job of a 5 clockwork. You sign a contract when the game starts, I will die every fight to make you guys look good. That is it. I think he's played a great game. He's 2-7 in 11, and I think he's played some of the best on his team. Because he's finding the angles, he's finding the key targets, and he knows what the priority is. He's either finding and locking down the Leshrac or the Tide in place, and he will die for it, but it just gives so much freedom to his teammates. It lets them connect their stuns, it lets them land the DP silence, and that's what he's got to do. And then, yeah, you might die, but you know, for the most part, a lot of the damage you take is not going on someone else, right? And by being naturally tanky and already having used all your spells, usually that's what you want out of your support, right? So
yeah, I mean, mobility is so key for the side of Tundra, right? When you take a look at what they've got going on, you've got a Weaver who wants to be dodging around, you've got the Pangolier who wants to be rolling, you've just everyone. They need to be in motion, they need to have the right positioning. So if you can disturb that on a position 5 hero, that's fantastic.
Yep, for sure. And even the Tide, right? Like, yeah, Snake King does have a Force Staff, so he can like kind of reposition himself, but just the 2 to 3 seconds that he's locked in an awkward spot and then needs to maneuver and navigate, you've already set up your team to play around the Ravage at that point. Like, it's good enough. So I still think the prioritization here from Clockwork should be get on top of the Lesh or get on top of the Tide. Those are definitely your best targets.
He's been hitting them every time, it seems.
Absolutely. It's good stuff.
All right, we do have a BKB picked up on the Death Prophet. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to make some sort of play here. As they're regrouping, they're going up around the Roche pit.
Yep.
Cuckoo immediately bashed. Roshan does not appreciate that.
No visitors today.
We're closed. Closed for the murderance. But there it is, a smoke coming out now from T1. I think they see a bunch of just pings coming out. They're going to go up to the high ground. We'll run into Snake King. Carl not sure if they want to go in for it. Just throw out a cheeky taunt.
Great positioning from him.
Oh, the hook shot, though. Like we said, Whitemon, this is his job. Does get drawn in over here with the Aether Remnant, but they'll go pop that Exorcism. Even though the Ravage goes off, still going to be able to take down Snake King. Whitemon, again, we said it, that's his job. He's got to separate these fights, and he will die every time. But right now, it feels like T1, they're not too upset about this trade. There's no longer a Tide Hunter, there's no longer Ravage that they have to worry about, and they're just going to glide on over. A little bit less than half of this Exorcism still going, but enough that's going to be able to help them secure this Roche.
I think Tundra should try to defend this because they should know Exorcism is running out, and they basically are full on resources on all of their heroes. So there's also no Shadow Dance. This is a very
really big. If they can take down 23 Savage, they do. They managed to jump on top of the Slark and absolutely get rid of him. Good silence play coming out again from Carl, but they go right back into the pit. They said, oh wait, thank you for softening him up for us. We were trying to, and we got rudely interrupted, so we'll take that.
That's a very, very good read. It's easy for us to see from our perspective with the vision we have, but keep in mind, Tundra don't know how low Roche is. They don't know exactly where the T1 heroes are placed, but they do know the information they have available is Clockwork is dead. There's no Exorcism in a short duration after that, and there's no Shadow Dance. And those pieces of information are enough. Somebody has to be tanking that Roche and getting low, and they start poking with Pango and Void Spirit, and they make the most of that situation. They found the perfect kill and stole Roshan. Very, very big for them, and basically puts them in the lead in the game suddenly. Even though they're 2k gold behind, this Aegis is very valuable.
It has been neck and neck throughout this. In fact, interesting to note that Void Spirit currently has the Dagon queued up here.
Yep.
9 really enjoying the Dagon usage on his last game, so considering that.
It's a very good item against Caudle. Caudle has a very bad strength gain and low base health, so Void Spirit is probably itemizing to one-shot the Caudle to take those spells out of the fight. Zephyr hasn't gone for the Glimmer Cape, he's gone Force Staff Aether Lens, so he's very, very, very fragile. If 9 sees him, he 100 to 0s him in a spell combo with the Dagon. So I like it. I think Dagon is going to become a little bit more popular slowly again, hopefully. It's kind of been a shade of its former self almost for years, I would say.
It was almost like the meme item for like a lot of the time. Oh dear, we talked about how fragile this Caudle is, but it's a really nice hook shot coming up from Whitemon. He's gonna be able to trap 2 of them in place, just rolling around here with Fata though. So he's gonna try to just help them disengage, bumping again right over onto Whitemon. 9 is here. Get a nice stun up. The buyback coming out now from the Caudle. He wants to get right back in, and this Exorcism, the Ghosts are doing a lot of work, but so is 33 as Whitemon, again, he will fall, but Carl now has no mount, is turning his attention back over onto Fata. We'll be able to get the kill on the Pangolier. clear. Now 23 Savage, he's looking for clicking, but he just can't seem to quite close the gap. He's found 33. He gets a kill with Carl. As now Skeeter, silent stop. He's trying to run away. He's trying to make some distance. So, you know what? They'll turn their attention now over onto Snaking. He pops the Ravage and go right back in again with 9. Do they have the burst? They'll take down Snaking. Skeeter sitting very, very low. That is going to be the Aegis, and Carl goes down. 10 times kill streak. Just absolutely ruined. As they'll turn in again, looking to see, can they catch any stragglers here? 23 Savage, though, he's hungry again. We talked about this, but perhaps he went just a bit too far here, as they'll be able to go. They have the vision. Can they finish him off? He's going to try to man fight over here with 9. Cuckoo looking for the opening. They want this kill. They will be able to take down 9. Skeeter hunting after Cuckoo, but there it is, just jumping on in. A Snaking falls. Those cogs coming in again. Skeeter trying everything he can. They have the grenade on him. They have the vision. 23 Savage, he says, come back here, little bug. You're nothing but bait. But he'll turn around, put that attention to Fata, who is going to just have to roll on out.
I hope we get a replay of this fight. Snaking had Ravage the entire time, and I think I was thinking, like, when should you use it here? He was watching Fata die from full HP to 0. I think he wants to connect the Ravage when both Weaver and Leshrac are dealing damage to the key target that they want. Probably the Slark, but the distance between them was too big, and he just held it really, really long, and maybe too long for his own good there. But a very long fight, and ultimately he does Ravage in the end as he is dying, setting his teammates up to get the kill on the DP at the very least. But man, did Savage have an amazing fight there. We're going to see the replay here, so this fight is really long. I don't even know if we're going to see it, to be honest. But so you'll see the Tide come in now, and his ultimate just comes off cooldown now. And look at this fight now. So all of this is clustered up, and he's just walking next to these 2 heroes that are not BKB. Both the DP and the Slark are possible targets this entire time. He can still Ravage here. He's still waiting. He holds it even longer. It's almost like he's baiting them to think he doesn't have it, right? And it did come off cooldown very recently. Now 33 dies. He still has it. Now he gets an Arcane Rune. And now he goes. Now it's time.
He hits 4 heroes with it. It's beautiful,
it's
but perhaps...
It's a good Ravage, but it makes you wonder, was there an opportunity earlier where the Leshrac was able to deal full damage in it and the Pango was still alive, and maybe that could have made things better? It's honestly tough to use that Ravage, and that's part of the challenge in this game. You're playing against the Slark, and you're playing against BKBs, but...
9 leaping forward. Does have to be careful because the rest of the team is nearby. Rolling Thunder will get used by Fata, as they will just get a nice pick off here over on Zephyr, and they will back off for the moment.
It's one of the heroes you want to kill when you want to push a tower, but not sure if that's actually what they want. They might just take the kill and run and control the map a little bit. No big objective to be taken. Roshan is obviously dead for a while.
Considering going back in, they have the Ravage back up, and they do have quite a bit of control coming out here for 23 Savage. So he's going to try to dodge out of the way, but the Ravage does connect. And again, this ground targeted stuff coming out from the Leshrac does so much as 23 Savage. Look at, they even jump up over onto the cliffside. They want the vision on the Slark, and they will find it. So from the back line, Snaking will fall, but Whitemon again will get taken down. Carl doing everything that he possibly can with these ghosts, with the Spirit Siphons, with the silence, everything, but they're just not able to close this distance right now. Carl throws out another Crypt Swarm, needs a little bit more, has the silence. Can they take down Fata? It's looking like the Ghost Ladies are going to be able to seal the deal. As there's a nice regen rune available right for the taking. As 9 jumps forward, though, he taunts off. Cuckoo left all alone, is going to get clicked down. And now Carl, all those ghostly ladies are returning to this Death Prophet. Do they have anything to hold her in place? They have anything for catch? It's not looking like it because the Yules is on cooldown. They don't have a step. So Carl will be allowed to survive this engagement.
What a crucial factor in that fight that the Slark doesn't get to the other side of that cliff with a pounce. If he doesn't get stuck in that corner, I think T1 just completely run away with this fight. But obviously stressed out, he's getting very pressured. He has to pounce there, but finding a slightly better angle could have changed everything. They end up getting the kill on him, and that's what snowballs the fight. It's another example of these fights where they pop literally everything hoping to kill the Slark, and this is almost a game of millimeters in this fight. You're going to see it here. So they get the opening here, commit everything. They know that there's no Dark Pact that's already used, and here's all the damage coming out. And here, he has the time to run a little bit further and jump left, but now he gets stuck in this corner. Caudle is not alive, so can't give him a secondary pounce with Chakra. And they identify this, and they're like, okay, get this guy. And that's... getting that kill there just basically seals the fight for them. Very, very close fights. It's down to small things. If Pounds had another 100 range, T1 win that fight hard.
Yeah, you're speaking in millimeters. I'm going to need you to speak in freedom units. Thank you.
He needed just an inch.
But the smoke play does come out here from T1. They're looking to get aggressive again. They've got a gem online on this Ogre. They're going to try everything they can to get their hands on this Weaver.
15 seconds on Exorcism. This would not be the perfect time.
Shot coming out from White Money separates the fights really beautifully as they go. They'll draw back over to Zephyr. There's not going to be a Coddle available for this fight, but the Dagon comes out. White Money is just deleted as Fata too. This is not looking good for them. They went for the smoke play, and they were just ready for it, it feels like. As using the spider legs. And Carl, he's trying, he's throwing out the taunts, but they have the Yules, and they have the Remnant to draw for, but he does have the BKB. The Scotty, though, coming out here from Skeeter. They don't have anything that's going to be able to cancel out the TP. So this Death Prophet will escape.
This is an example of one of those things that happens sometimes, and it feels really bad, but you understand why they did it. So they're smoked, and there's 15 seconds cooldown on Exorcism. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get position so that when Exorcism comes off cooldown, they can fight immediately and catch the enemy by surprise. But the fight starts early. So they smoked into them and didn't have Exo, and now Carl.
There's the Ravage. Perfect timing from Snake King. They rip apart Carl, and now 23 Savage. He's had to Shadow Dance, and he is starting to get some of these stacks up, but it's just very scary for him to go forward.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And okay.
Anyone want to take another stun? No.
You know, it's the mental mind games here of just like, yeah, I'll take it, whatever, I don't care. But you know who might care is Whitemon, because he is just zapped, for lack of a better term.
Yep. Absolutely removed from the game. When is Roche? Early respawn 10 seconds, so could be a possibility here for Tundra. They're already eyeing it up with a Remnant. And we will know the respawn timer in just a second here. It is in... Da, 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 da. Oh, that was not the early respawn. That was the exact respawn. My bad. I misread it.
No worries. No worries. It was very... I like the, you know, the heralding da, 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 that you threw out, you know?
The suspense.
Yes.
And all of the audience can just see he's respawning and I'm an idiot.
I'm sure the audience enjoyed it. No worries. No worries. But yeah, now everyone is in this pit. They don't have to worry about anyone interrupting this Roche. So this should be easy.
And the double damage. This is about as good as it gets for Tundra right now. They get the Aegis on Skitter. They get a bottle DD on Skitter. He has a 9-second BKB on Skitter.
Just littering now from Skitter.
Yep.
He does have quite a few things. He's got wards in his inventory. Okay. It's over on the Slark here as he's trying to just clean up the jungle as he moves around. One of the nice perks about this particular hero. This top tower going down very easily, very quickly. And Tundra seems like they're poised to maybe reach this high ground, although they do have quite a few towers still available over in the bottom side.
They could still get the bottom 2 towers, probably without much contest from T1. And I do think they should push out bottom wave regardless.
Oh, this was a nice pick off if they can get it. BKB comes out from Carl immediately. Spider legs up here to the high ground. They don't have anything to cancel it. But again, that is, there's just a gem on the ground. Okay.
What?
That was the Ogre's gem, right? Yeah. Why is that on the ground?
What? Wait, what? Did he drop the gem before TPing? Was it already there?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it was trying to be like a BM play. I don't know. I just realized that there was just a gem on the ground. They were pinging it out, so.
Okay. I mean, it was Zephyr's gem. Maybe Cuckoo dropped it earlier and they just didn't realize and didn't get it, and then he was TPing out and he was like, oh, I'm next to a gem, by the way. I don't know.
Let's see. All right. So there's a Death Prophet, no gem.
Okay, it's just lying there.
Yeah, it is just lying there over the ground.
And he didn't realize in time. He TP's
We didn't realize either.
Oh, he could have easily grabbed that if he realized. He could have dropped his
easy net worth right there. 23 Savage.
Yeah.
Ooh. Somebody's watching you. Does have the Ag Shard for the Swarm over on Skeeter. He's just going to clean up with this creep wave and wait for the opportunity to present itself. And again, this is like the third time that Carl's had to use his BKB as a defensive item. That feels so bad.
It's been down to 6 seconds for a while, so as long as a fight doesn't get forced, this doesn't really change anything. It's not getting weaker every time anymore.
The double damage over on Skeeter, though, I feel like they're going to want to find an opportunity,
they're
right?
trying to take advantage of it. He has a target on his back now. They know for 1 minute there's no BKB. If he shows himself and they get any sort of opening on him another time, that's when they're going to blink Ravage.
Spooky stuff indeed.
Yeah, this tower's gone
Dire's bottom
very
tower
fast.
is under attack.
Nothing like
that was the tower there.
a double damage Weaver,
Tower
just
has fallen.
ripping apart your towers. All right.
Not sure about this Axe on Slark.
Whoa.
How good that really is.
9 trying to just make some plays. They get the stuns off. They get the Ravage off as well. Can they finish? Yes, they can. 23 Savage is just absolute fish food as they'll take down Whitemon. They'll take down his carrier. Zephyr cannot run away fast enough.
Awesome
Tundra
spellcasting.
just surgically pulling them apart here.
That was super good. I think 9 actually found the remnant there in the middle of all of those creeps. That was very impressive.
Time lapse
right,
coming
lot
out.
of
They have to be
stuns.
careful. They are really controlling him. Skeeter needs to... All right, that's the Aegis Papa. Carl now is not looking the healthiest. He's forced to run away. As the Weaver is back up, they'll take down the tower. They'll be looking to take down these racks as well, knowing that this Slark is not bought back. He does not have it. And they can make some plays here as 9 going a bit deep here. BKB coming out from Ku. It looks like they're satisfied with that.
They should be. That was really good. They could have maybe got it without using their Aegis in the end, but it's still... Look at this play. So, look at all of these creeps here. I think... Does he find this remnant on him? Dude, that is so good. And then they chain it with the stuns, but finding the remnant there is
Look, he
not...
almost... If it wasn't for that Ravage,
Yeah,
I think
good
he
force
might
stab.
have survived.
Yeah. Great punish. Like, ultimately it is a punish because he's outside of the base casting Dark Pact to farm, but he also has to farm.
Yes.
And they were trying to protect him, but it just wasn't enough. Just a really heads-up play from Tundra there. Very good.
Has fallen.
That
Get the
is
bot tier
the
2.
final tier 2 taken down.
And now he has to dissimulate stun. I don't know if he had that there actually on 9, if he set up the stun himself, because they just layered all of their stuns, right? They used Lashrak stun,
He had
Ravage.
one goal.
So,
And it
yeah,
was kill the Slark, lock him down.
if you catch Slark outside of Dark Pact in a game like this, you just pile on him, really. He just needs to die. They know the only save is for stuff, so... But yeah, the dissimulate stun on 25 on Void Spirit, extremely powerful talent, of course. Especially when you have the shard, you just have all of this range where you can choose where to land your 2.5 second stun in the middle of a fight. Who's the primary target? Connect that.
Step forward here again from 9. Look at how fast 23 Savage runs away.
I'm not sold on this Ags, by the way. I don't know if that is the item he needs in this game right now. The BKB could be a better choice. He's actually just... Okay, he's not completing it. He has the point booster. He was planning on it, but changed his mind. I think this is the right choice. A 9-seconder 42 minutes in is very strong. Usually BKBs are starting to drop low now. So, what do you think?
A fight breaking
too late on the
now.
hook shot.
Fata is going to be allowed to roll around 9, of course, standing nearby. Whitemon immediately jumped upon by 9. He will pop. And the rest of T1, do they want to go back in? They still have 23 Savage over here, but the rest of Tundra, they're joining in. 9 looking for this opportunity, looking to grab anyone he can. He's fishing over here. The Ravage comes out, does connect. The BKB, though, from Carl. Looks like they're going to be able to keep 23 Savage alive a little bit longer, but they just have too much ground-targeted damage coming out from 33. This exorcism is doing work, but Carl, he's left all alone. No one to protect him. He's not tanking enough with all the damage coming out.
The Pango sitting still in his shard, just waving. That's so stupid.
Dota2.
Yep, for sure.
The drawback over here, that Ogre was a tanky lad earlier. He doesn't seem so tanky anymore, though, as 23 Savage does buy back. He's not willing to let these buildings just go away, but I'm not sure how he gets into this at all, because look at this. Look at this Coddle. He can't do anything over here as they try to do the leash up. 23 Savage, he's trying to get back into his face. He turns back around. He wants to get this damage off. Wants to take down 9. He's hungry for it. Can he do it, though, is the question, because they do have this nice lockdown. They're forced right back into the fountain. Fata just going to swashbuckle back, and they'll focus on the buildings over on the side of Tundra. Jump forward again, hoping to grab anyone who might be a little bit too far forward in T1. They want to get them out of this base, but how do they do it, Sid?
It's tough right now. You don't have Exorcism, you don't have Shadow Dance, so yeah, you're gonna have to pop the BKB as soon as. I think 9 is actually just doing so much in this game by just going in. Even if he goes back out, just constantly poking and prodding and threatening, it's very stressful.
Oh dear, there's no BKB this time for Carl. It's a lot of damage. Buyback coming out though from Cuckoo. Hook shot, long range coming in from Whitemon, just gonna push back over on Skeeter.
How on earth did he not get into the cogs there? Did he force step him at the exact same time he cogged? Okay.
Seems like it, yes.
I didn't even notice because it was simultaneous.
Very fast reflexes, fast play.
Either way, it's the same outcome, right? Like if you force step perfectly or not, he will still get pushed out. So, yeah, nothing really coming from that. I really think this lack of BKB on Slark has become increasingly costly for them in this game. Tundra have just done an excellent job at locking him down, isolating him. Playing Slark without BKB in general in games, I think, is very dependent on not facing AoE ground-targeted abilities. But he's facing at both the Ravage as well as the Leshrac stun, so even if he gets ulti off after using Dark Pact, he can get caught by either of those two or Rolling Thunder. And I just think it's a bit too optimistic, probably, a game like this to play without BKB.
Shows himself, the silence coming out from the Death Prophet will throw out the swarm. They've got the stuns. They should have. Oh, he goes. He has to pop his own BKB. Is he going to make it out though? Because 33, he wants this kill and he's going to find it. 23 Savage now is trying to just get some of these Essence stacks, just chasing after 33. But Carl's just getting thrown around over onto the back lines. The Ravage comes out. They'll be able to take down Whitemon. Whitemon buying back. They're not done with this game just yet. But 23 Savage, there's too much damage coming out. He will fall as they get another Ravage, and they'll collect themselves another kill onto Carl. As Fata does eventually fall to the fountain, but they are holding in place over here as Tundra backs off.
They should go for Megas here.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they're kind of
only 2
leisurely
supports alive. They
right?
just need a wave to connect. Yeah, there we go.
There's the buybacks coming out. I think they weren't sure.
GG.
GG gets called. Tundra playing some very clean